Today, we're going to dive into a piece of writing that's almost 3,000 years old, but feels like it could have been written yesterday. It's this raw, unfiltered cry of despair and betrayal that somehow finds a way through all that pain. So let's get into it and break down the incredible emotional journey of Psalm 55.
Seriously, have you ever been in a situation that was so crushing, so completely overwhelming, that your first thought was just, I gotta get out of here, I just want to escape? If you've ever felt that, you know exactly where this psalm begins.
Wow, the author is not holding back one bit. This isn't just a tough day, you know? This is a full-blown crisis. The language is so intense, so real. The terrors of death. I mean, that's the level of agony we're talking about here. This really sets the stage for what's to come.
So this first part, it's really a snapshot of a mind in absolute chaos. We're looking at a state of crisis that feels like there's just no way out.
And look at how these emotions are just piled on one after another. It's not just one feeling. It's anguish and fear and trembling and a horror that he says has completely overwhelmed him. This isn't just being sad. This is like a total psychological assault. You can practically feel the weight of these words just reading them.
So what do you do when you're under that kind of unbearable pressure? Well, the most human reaction in the world is to want to flee, to run, to just not be there anymore. And this feeling builds into one of the most famous lines in all of the Psalms. This line is just so beautiful and heartbreaking, isn't it? It perfectly captures that deep, universal desire to escape. And the image of a dove, a symbol of peace, of freedom, is just perfect. The writer is literally imagining sprouting wings and flying off to some quiet place far away from the storm. It's a fantasy born out of pure desperation. And this brings us to the big turning point. I mean, threats from an enemy are one thing, but this level of pain, it feels different. It feels personal. So you have to ask, what, or maybe who, is the real source of this storm? And here is where the story just drops a bombshell. The source of all this suffering? It's not some foreign king or a distant enemy. Nope. The call is coming from inside the house. The person causing all this pain is someone the writer knows and someone they trust completely.
The writer lays it out so clearly. He says, look, if an enemy were insulting me, I could handle it. I could brace myself for that. But this is something I can't endure because the person doing it is you, my equal, my companion, my close friend, the person I shared my life with. Oof, that is the sting of a deep personal betrayal. And as if that weren't bad enough, just look at this description. The betrayal was hidden behind this mask of friendship. The words were all smooth and soothing, but underneath it all, war, drawn swords. It wasn't just a betrayal, it was deceptive. It was two-faced, and that's what makes the wound cut so much deeper. Okay, so after a revelation like that, your first instinct might be to just spiral into rage, right? To want revenge. And believe me, the psalmist definitely feels that. But then, something shifts. He makes a conscious choice to change his focus, to find another way forward. And this is the third act, the turn.
This simple phrase, "but as for me," shows up a couple of times, and it's so powerful. It's like he's drawing a line in the sand. He's saying, okay, that's what they've done. That's the pain I'm feeling. But this is what I am going to do now. It's him taking his power back. So here's his strategy, laid out in these clear steps. He doesn't just suck it up or ignore the pain. No, he actively cries out, morning, noon, and night. He turns all that anguish into a call for help. And in doing that, he creates a whole new story for himself. A story where he is heard and where he's ultimately rescued, even while the battle is still raging all around him. So how does this whole journey end? Well, the pain of the betrayal doesn't just magically vanish. The world is still a messy, dangerous place. But the psalmist finds a resolution. He finds a way to stand firm, even right in the middle of the storm. And this is the ultimate takeaway. After walking us through the absolute depths of despair and the shock of betrayal, this is where he lands. The solution isn't to grow wings and fly away from it all. It's to find something or someone strong enough to cast all those burdens onto. Stability doesn't come from avoiding the storm, but from having an anchor that will not let you be shaken.
And so this ancient text leaves us with a very modern and very personal question. When the people you count on completely let you down, when your world gets turned upside down, where do you find your foundation? What becomes your anchor? What keeps you from getting totally swept away? That's a question worth thinking about.